Mars is not the dry, arid planet that we thought of in the past. Today we're going to announce that under certain circumstances, liquid water has been found on Mars.
There is still the belief by many that alien life exists on other worlds, and they have indeed visited this planet more than once. A simple census check at certain trailer parks across America may indeed answer that question. And we may indeed have found that key to the thinking we are not alone, right around the celestial corner. The growing likelihood there is liquid water on Mars has scientists, science geeks, and the simply curious all talking this week. So let's welcome to the hard line astronomer at the Adler Planetarium in Chicago, who guarantees this is not merely a promotion for the Matt Damon movie, which hits screens this week. Mark Hammergren joins us. Right, Mark, this wasn't a conspiracy. NASA didn't plan it to go right with the Damon movie, correct?
That's correct. No, this was timed for a European Planetary Science Conference, which has been in the works for more than a year.
And just to get it all out in the open right away, this also was not a left-wing conspiracy, as Rush Limbaugh claims, correct?
Yeah, that's correct, although Mars is the red planet.
You're only the second person thus far who has made that connection. Somebody on my social media page did exactly the same thing, and oddly enough, it was a Democrat who did it. So let's go ahead and tear into some of the science then. Let's be very clear here. This is not the direct detection of water on Mars, correct?
That's correct, yeah. What they found instead were hydrated salts, so minerals that contain water chemically bound into the mix.
So finding these pieces, if you will, these remnants, indicates that there may have been water at a past time, but it doesn't necessarily indicate that there is water there right now. How am I doing so far?
Pretty good, yeah. That is indeed a conclusion, but in this case, because we found these hydrated minerals in these dark streaks that flow down the slopes of some valleys on Mars, this is a great indication that it was a briny water moving down slope, just damp soil, really, that caused these features.
Is it possible, and again, we're dealing in science fiction here, I know that you folks you look at the planet constantly, but are we thinking then that millions of years ago, as we've heard in some sci-fi, that this was a water-based planet, that it was something like Earth, even though it's not exactly in that Goldilocks zone that Earth is in right now when it comes to sun and water and everything else, but it looked a little bit like us, maybe. How's that?
Yeah, perhaps. We don't know if there was any life or any vegetation on Mars, but looking at some of the surface features on Mars, these river networks, and some of the stones that the rovers have found, we can see that water, liquid water, was existing across large portions of Mars's surface for a long period of time. But that was billions of years ago.
If indeed there is water buried deep beneath the surface, which is likely where it would be at this time, could it be made potable, drinkable, usable in any fashion?
Absolutely. And we've known for a long, long time that there's a lot of water on Mars currently, below the surface and in the polar caps, but in the form of ice. So in terms of habitability, sending humans to take advantage of water on Mars, or to use that for survival, we've known that for a very long time.
So let's look then at another issue that I thought about and I actually saw this week. We're talking about now having to go back to Mars, do a little bit more investigation, see if we can actually find the water. Now, I've heard some people talk about the rover is there. But I don't know why, just enough of a science geek. Here it was that clicked in. The rover was sent from Earth, and I remember my Apollo years. You had to make sure that everything was sent up incredibly sterilized without any sort of Earth microbes on it. So isn't it possible that that has some living Earth microbes on it? And if we sent something up, we've got to be sure that we're not repolluting the Martian atmosphere, correct?
Absolutely, and that's a huge concern. There's no way we can make anything entirely, completely sterile. And so there always is a worry if there's an environment on Mars, anywhere on Mars, that could support life, that we pollute it, that we contaminate it with Earth organisms before we can find potential Mars life.
So does this bring us any closer to actually getting to the science fiction? Look, I know we've talked about Mars colonies for some time, getting a human there, then making fuel that's there. Are we any closer after this discovery?
Well, I don't think we're any closer necessarily to having humans on Mars and colonizing Mars. But the discovery of what appears to be signs of liquid water on the surface of Mars today is a great indication that we might have environments that could support life. We have liquid water near the surface where photosynthetic life could take advantage of that. So this is exciting for that reason.
How big a deal was this to you and your fellow astronomers?
Well, you know, it's confirmation of something that we've thought for a long time. The leading theory behind this, the source of these dark streaks was that it was caused by flowing water of some kind. Not rivers, but just a trickle. And so we've expected water, but having confirmation of it, having proof that water was behind it, that's a very nice incremental science discovery.
Are we maybe a little bit closer to having people understand that, yes, there's something out there? We can't be alone. There's got to be something out there somewhere. And this is maybe just that first indicator, though a lot of people, they want to say, nope, can't be. We're the only ones. Nope, it's not us. We're going to have to get there eventually, right?
Well, I certainly hope so. Right now, we don't have any proof of life off of the planet Earth, besides, of course, what we've taken there ourselves. But the discovery that there are places that could support life as we know it, that does increase the likelihood that maybe eventually we'll find something.
Mark, just remember, as somebody said to me this week when this whole thing broke, they said, it's nice to know that there may be life on Mars. First, we have to make sure that we have intelligent life on Earth.
Yeah, indeed. That is often a concern, isn't it?
It's always a concern. Trust me, when you deal enough every single day in politics, you have to wonder. The Adler Planetarium, marvelous place indeed. Mark Hammergren, thanks so much for being with us. Hopefully we'll get a chance to talk again and talk about that one-way ticket for some people to Mars. Take care. All right, back to Earth, focusing on the indigenous Earth weed that some studies still insist is not nearly as harmless as one might believe. It's coming up next when we continue right here on The Hard Line.